Today we're going to talk about I-bonds. Yes, I-bonds. Now, some of you may have never heard of an I-bond. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the benefits, exactly what it is, and see if it's something that you may be interested in. Let's go. Need some music. Hola, mi amigos. ¿Cómo estás? Bien. Hey, bienvenidos. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about I-bonds. I-bonds, yes. It's a government-backed bond. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about more of the details of the I-bond to bring you some information to see if it's something that you're interested in or something that's beneficial to you and your family and your future. And like I said, a lot of people may have never heard of an I-bond. I hadn't heard about it until the last year or so. So we're going to give you some details and to see if it works out for you and your family. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. So there you go. I'm just bringing information to you and to your family. What I like about the I-bond, it is a high yield bond or a semi-high yield bond. It's a low risk bond, it's a low risk investment. And I love that about the I-bond. All right, these I-bonds, they earn interest monthly. So every month it earns interest. And every 6 months, the rates adjust. So you'll have 6 months at one rate, then the following 6 months, it'll be a different rate, either go up or down. All right, let's talk about the current interest rate as of today. For this current 6 months, I think it started in November to like April or the end of April. So the current interest rate for this 6 months is 6.89%. Yes, 6.89%. That's a pretty good rate. I like it. Let's look at the previous 6 months interest rates. The previous 6 months for ending in October the 31st, it was 9.2%. That's 9.2 return on your investment. That's amazing. Man, that is amazing. I know a lot of people found out about it during that 6 months because it was a little talk about it. Let's look at a little bit of the history of the interest rates. As I look back from 2008, nearly 15 years ago, the interest rates range from like 4.5% up to 9.2%. And it has not went any lower than that. And I don't think it has ever been any higher. So it's a nice little solid window. 4.5% it's okay. It's nothing to write home about, but your money is still making money. So that is something to maybe write a close friend about. But the 4.5% it's okay. Your money is still making money while you sleep. Hello. And the 9.2 is just it's not the highest return on your investment as I've seen with other things, but it's solid. It's nice. 6 months, it's solid. You're not worried about it taking a dive into zero or negative or whatnot, but it's still 9.2 for 6 months. So that's very solid. That's very good. And that is something to write home about. Now you can write home about that one. Money still making money. Hey, not a whole lot to complain about. All right, to start off with bond, you can start it off with as little as $25. You can buy a bond $25 online. To buy a bond online, it's pretty simple. You go on their website, you set up your information, they'll ask for it, and it may take a few days for it to get approved. But it's very simple. You can start off with $25 and you can go up to $10,000 electronically. As far as you buying it electronically on the website, go up to $10,000 annually. But there's a way to invest up to an additional $5,000. If you do a tax return and you have any type of return on there, you can send a portion of that tax return up to $5,000 directly to the I-bond. And they call that a paper return or a paper buy. So you can do up to $5,000. So if you got a $2,000 tax refund, you can put that whole amount in there. If you got a $7,000 tax refund, you can put $5,000 of that $7,000 to go straightly to the I-bond. And that way you can get an additional $5,000 to be invested in this thing. Comprende? Sí, bueno. All right, guys, like I always say, Hey, do some research for yourself. Maybe go talk to your own financial advisor or talk to your accountant and say, hey, can you tell me about the iBond? Can you tell me some pros and cons? I don't know everything there is to iBond, so you may want to get some more information on it. Hey guys, go ahead and click that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We just like to inform people and have some fun. We like to save you time, money, and stress. Time, money, and stress. If we can save you that, I feel like I've done my job. Click that notification bell because you don't want to miss out on a video that we have come out. You don't want to miss out and watch it 6 months later or a year later where the opportunity may have passed. If you're already a subscriber, thank you. All right, let's talk about how long you can keep these bonds. These bonds last for 30 years. If you want to keep it for 30 years, they go up to 30 years. You can pull it out before the end, but for 30 years, it earns interest on that same rotation every 6 months, whatever the interest rate is. But for the 30 years, you'll earn interest. After the 30 years, your money will be returned back to you in the full amount that is earned over the 30 years. And so you got 30 years, but that's each year. You can buy a bond each year. So if you buy a bond in 2022 and you keep it for 30 years, in 2050, it's going to be returned to you. If you buy a bond next year in 2023 and 2053, that money is going to be returned to you. So it can be an ongoing thing. And let's look at how soon can we redeem these if we needed the money, we wanted to get them out, we got an emergency, or we just had no plans of keeping it in there for 30 years. There's a 1 year window that you have to leave it in there. There's a 1 year window that it has to be left in there. After that, you can pull it out. The only caveat is if you pull it out within the first 5 years, there's a small penalty that you'll have to pay to pull it out before 5 years. And that penalty is the previous 3 months of your earned interest. So if you pull it out in 4 years, the previous 3 months from when you requested the money to be withdrawn, you're going to lose that interest. So it could be, I don't know, less than $100. It depends on how much money you have in there. So it's not a big penalty. So it shouldn't frighten anyone off, because I know I was like, hey, if I want to pull that money out and use it for something, I need to be able to get to it. So after a year, you can get to it. And after that, between the first year and the 5th year, there's not a big penalty to pull it out. So that shouldn't be a deal breaker for it. All right, let's look at the qualifications to be able to purchase the iBond. One qualification, to be a U.S. citizen. If you're a U.S. citizen, boom, easy. Another qualification, to be a U.S. resident. If you got your residency in the U.S., boom, easy deal, done. You can get one. The third way is to be a civil employee of the U.S. So that's a civil employee of the U.S. All right, I'm gonna throw this in for free, but let's look at when we're gonna start seeing our interest rates return to us in our iBond. Good question. Say if you purchase an iBond in January, you're not going to see your earned interest until probably April. Your first time seeing earned interest. Yeah, it earns interest monthly, but your initial purchase and it has a 3-month window where you won't see any return, no interest rate or anything like that. So if you get it in January, you say, I'm gonna go in February or March and see where my money is at, see how much money my money has made me, and no, it's going to say the same thing. So if you put $5,000 in there, and in January and March, it's going to say $5,000. So don't expect to say, oh, it's $5,100. No, it's going to say $5,000. So it's not until that 4th month until you start seeing your interest rate return to your account. You can start seeing, then you'll see your account growing from then on. But the first 3 months, you're not going to see anything. You're not going to see anything in your account except for what you put in. Comprende? Bueno, bueno. I love that these bonds do not go down in value. They always grow, always growing. You're not going to look in there and see your $10,000 down to $7,000, or your $15,000 or $20,000 down to $10,000 and $12,000. It's always going to grow, especially with a time like it is now. With the last 5 years, our economy and retirement and investments has went up, down, all around, back up and down some more. So that's a thought. All right, let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the real numbers, the real money. Let's look at it. Let's say we got a $10,000 bond. You buy a $10,000 bond 1 year, and you leave it in there for 5 full years, and you decide you want to pull it out. And we're going to go at an average rate of 5.4%. 5.4%. That $10,000 in 5 years at 5.4% is a touch over $13,000 total. So your money has earned a touch over $3,000 on its own while you were sleeping. Yes, your money, or you money while you were sleeping. So $3,000, hey, that's nothing to, do a cartwheel about, or, it's $3,000 over 5 years. It could be better, but it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse on some of these investments that you can actually lose money on in 5 years on your $10,000 investment. So to be up $3,000, hey, I'll count that as a win. All right, let's look at that same $10,000 over 30 years. You left it in there the full 30. And we keeping the interest rate the same at 5.4. Your $10,000 has just turned into a total of $48,400. Yes, that's $48,400. So that same $10,000 investment left in there for 30 years, and it's made over $38,000 while you was asleep, snoring, dreaming, and doing whatever else you do. So yeah, $10,000 to $48,000 for 30 years. And for 5 years, it's $10,000 goes to $13,000. So you can kind of get an idea on how your money can earn for you. Depends on the longevity that you leave it in that bond. So I think $10,000 making $38,000 in 30 years. Yeah, it's not the highest return. It's not 12 or 15 or anything like that, 20, but it's still a nice, solid, low risk, low worry. You're not staying up at night. You're not checking the account every other day to see if it's coming back up and all that stuff. You're not pulling your hair out. You're not going bald or anything like that. No pun intended. But nice, solid investment, worry-free. And so what I think about the iBond, I think it's a good deal. I think it's a good deal. If you're able to, I think it's a great deal. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, notification, share, all that good stuff. Hey, maybe you got some comments about this. Maybe you know more information than I do. Hey, leave a comment, leave a question, and if I see it, I'll get back to you. But I appreciate you watching. God bless you. Adios.